everyone, welcome back to another video. I wanted to let you know that for the rest of the year, from now, September until December, I'm going to be starting a hopefully couple video long journaling series where I basically just go over journaling basics. I know that we're kind of slowly starting to head towards kind of that peak journaling time, November, December, where everybody is getting excited and setting up their journals for the new year, and I have been getting some requests recently for more specific journaling videos. So I'm hopefully going to start out a series for the next few months going over how to start a reading journal, the supplies that I use, and then of course at the end of the year I'll do all my flip throughs and setups and that sort of thing. I'm hoping that this will just be a very simple and beginner-friendly way for people to get into journaling if that's something that you're wanting to do for the new year, or if you're just curious and want to know a little bit more about reading journaling or about how I personally keep my journals. And definitely let me know if there's anything else specific you want to see. My channel did start around journal content, and I feel like I've definitely been missing that recently, and I'm excited to get into that more for the rest of the year with this journaling series. I figured that probably a really good place to start when talking about journaling is just to share with you my personal journal lineup or journal ecosystem. I don't know who originally coined the term journal ecosystem, but I love it. I think it's a really fun and kind of accurate term to describe a system where you kind of have a lot of different things going and working together at the same time. So these are just all of the journals that I have been regularly using. I'm going to show you each journal, talk a little bit about what the purpose is, show you some of the pages, all that kind of stuff, and I'm just very excited about it. One thing though I will say, and I think this is pretty universal for people who frequently journal, is that the lineup itself has changed quite a bit this year, and just in general I've been journaling for many years now, and the actual journals that I've used and kept over that time have very much changed, and I've gone through lots of different phases. I've tried a lot of different things. This is what I've been using recently and it's just been working really well, but I'm sure that it's also going to change again in the future. So let's just go ahead and get into it. I think I will start by just talking about my journal. I don't really know what else to call this. I guess everything that the other journals don't include, I use this one for. This journal is from Typhosy. They kindly sent to me. It's part of their, I believe it's called the Moonlit Melody collection, and this is one of the most beautiful journals I've ever seen. It has the most gorgeous dark green faux leather cover with just the most beautiful gold and red foiling design. It really reminds me of like a little magical fairy tale forest book, which I absolutely love, and I think that's really perfect for a journal that is so special to me. This is actually my second of these life journals that I've used so far this year. This is the one that I started using and used, I think, from January to August. This one is also from Typhosy, by the way. This is my first ever Typhosy notebook, and I absolutely love them. I think they're really wonderful quality. Definitely one of my all-time favorite journal brands because their journals are just so beautiful, but the quality is also really good. So I started this one at the beginning of 2025 with the intention of it being just a bit of a memory keeping journal of sorts, but also just like a standard diary. I really have a very wide variety of pages in this journal, from just like more standard diary entries to vision boards to memory spreads and travel spreads, bucket lists and other random lists, and just honestly anything that I could ever want in a journal is what I put in here. One thing that I have definitely learned about myself throughout the years is that I'm the type of person who tends to be a little bit more consistent with my journals if I consolidate them a little bit more. In the past, I have separated this type of journal into like a memory journal and a junk journal and just a diary, and I've like tried separating all those things before, and I've never really been consistent with any of those. So it really wasn't, I feel like, until this year that I tried to combine it and kind of take the pressure off journaling and not have so many different journals all spread out that I'm trying to keep up with, and just kind of have one main central one. That has really worked well for me. I know some people do work really well with having a lot of different journals in their lineup. Personally, this is just my main one that I use for majority of things. So yeah, that's my life journal. I could talk way more about it. Next up, we have my reading journal. I love my reading journal so much. I started keeping a reading journal at the end of 2023, and it's just been honestly one of the most fun parts of my life ever since. I love my reading journal so much. I've found so much fun in it, so much relaxation, so much expression, and I have loved sharing my reading journal with you guys as well. If you're wanting to start a reading journal and you are curious about how you would even start that, I am definitely hoping to do a video soon all about that. So right now I am actually kind of using 2 reading journals. Both of these are from Notebook Therapy, and I do really love them both. I think they are so beautiful. But I do think that for my next reading journal, I want to do a fun color. I don't really know how I ended up doing 2 black journals back to back. I do kind of miss having like more fun colors in my lineup. But this journal I started in the middle of 2024, so by the time the year ended, I still had like a good half of the pages left. I didn't really want to waste them. So when New Year time came around, I just decided to set up all of my beginning of the year spreads in here instead of just like starting a whole new journal. And so that's what I did. But that did mean that I ended up finishing and completing this journal pretty early on in the year, I think at the end of February. So once I ran out of pages in this one, I started this one at the beginning of March, and this is the one that I've been using ever since. And I'm thinking that this will also pretty neatly and satisfyingly carry me through the end of 2025. I really don't mind using 2 journals at once, but I think it will be very nice to have it a little bit more consolidated next year. In my reading journal, I really have all sorts of spreads in here that are just a fun way to track all the books that I read, but also kind of just like celebrate and make a new fun hobby. Kind of just combining 2 of my favorite hobbies, reading and journaling. It's just like the most fun thing ever. So I have like book trackers in here, monthly spreads, seasonal TBRs, reading wrap-ups, reading challenges of sorts, and honestly just anything that you can think of to track books. I probably do just because I find it really fun. These journals have truly been one of the highlights of the past, like 2 years since I started keeping it. I just love my reading journals so much. So the next one that I want to show you here is this one, which is actually just my sketchbook. And to me, this is very different than journaling. Like, it's a completely different medium. So I know a lot of people keep like art journals, and those are so beautiful. I love the way those look. But for me, in my head, I kind of just like to separate like my more journaling side of craftiness and then just like a completely different sketchbook. I think I started this one in May, and to be honest, it has not been super successful. I have been really getting back into painting specifically and just art in general this year, but I don't really find myself reaching for my sketchbook that often. I like working on canvases and bigger papers and that sort of thing, but I do love the idea of just having a sketchbook, especially when you're on the go, and just kind of having those little bits of creativity throughout your day and little bits of sketching. I think sketching is a big part in just like improving your artistic skills overall. I don't think I have completed a single sketch in this journal so far. Like, I have a lot of partially started sketches, nothing very impressive looking. And by the way, this is a Leuchtturm sketchbook. This is my first time ever trying a Leuchtturm sketchbook, and I really like it. The quality is really good. The color is really pretty, and I just decorated it with some stickers to make it a little bit more fun. But in terms of the journal itself, I really like it. I really highly recommend. It works very nicely with pencil and color pencil, and even with some markers and whatnot. And then these next 2 journals, I say that in quotation because I don't even think you could call one of them a journal, but these next 2 notebooks that I'm going to show you are actually very, very recent to my lineup. Both of these are things that I have been kind of thinking that I was wanting to add, little gaps that I felt were with my other journals, and I recently got these probably like 2 weeks ago, to be honest, but I have already been loving them and already been using them very consistently, so I'm feeling pretty confident that these are going to stay in my lineup for a little while now. First, I have this one, which is so pretty. This is from the brand Paper Blanks, which I have kind of admired from afar for years. They just have the most beautiful, very kind of like vintage fairy tale looking journals. And this one I just think is stunning. I love the texture of it. It's just these beautiful like pastel metallic flowers. It's so pretty. This is what I am calling my creativity journal, and this has actually been one of the best things. I'm so glad that I started this. I was kind of using this function of a journal, like a creativity journal, brained up type of thing, for a while now, kind of just spread between some of my other journals. And so this is the first time that I have been really consolidating all of those things into one actual notebook, and it has been very helpful for me. I am a very creative person. Like, I have a lot of creative artsy hobbies, and I really like to be able to plan things out when it comes to painting and videos and drawing and just anything creative. I find it very helpful to have a little bit of like a brain dump space. So this journal has been a place for me to organize that. I have like video ideas, journaling ideas, and different crochet projects that I'm working on. Anything creative that I just want a place to kind of write out my thoughts, write out the process a little bit more. This has been very, very helpful for me. So I love this journal. I'm still kind of figuring out like what I'm using it for, but I find myself actually reaching for it all the time when I'm just kind of having all these different ideas floating around and I want to kind of organize them a little bit. And then finally, I also recently started a planner, which is very fun. I have not used like a paper planner in years because I was using my bullet journal for a long time, but I really just wanted to have a physical planning system. I do use my Notion, but I just find it a little bit less convenient. Like it's not as easy, I feel like, to always pull out my Notion. So I decided to get just like a very standard, typical monthly planner. I got this at Barnes & Noble. It's from the brand Rifle Paper Co., which is just like a very beautiful stationery brand. And this is a very simple monthly planner. So it just has a page, a big calendar page for every month, and then at the back it has a little notes section with just some blank paper. I mainly bought this to use as an academic planner. This is an academic planner, so it starts I think in August of 2025 and it goes till July of next year. And mainly I'm just using it to keep track of like test dates and due dates and assignments and class dates and that sort of thing. I really like having an academic planner. I feel like I can remember things pretty well most of the time, but it really eases so much of my stress to just have it all written down and just kind of to have a backup copy. It's also just like for nostalgic reasons really fun to look back on planners in the future and kind of just see like what you were up to that month. So this is kind of what my page is looking like in September. I love to color code things. I just think it's very fun. So I have a different color for each class. I also have like little check boxes for certain due dates and certain assignments that I have. Just having a place to kind of see it all zoomed out a little bit I find very helpful. And then I also have this one, which I got, I think a couple months ago. It's a little travel size notebook. It's really cute. And I haven't really actively been using this one that much, but my idea for this was to use it as a health journal. I did keep a health tracker at the beginning of this year and I put it in my bullet journal. And I really appreciated like keeping track of health related things, but just including it in my bullet journal wasn't really working for me. So I was thinking that I could have like maybe a separate journal for it. This is something that I'm still very much trying to figure out because I like the idea and concept of having a health journal. I think that would be really, really helpful for my life. I just haven't quite figured out how to do it. Okay, since we've been talking about current journals and past journals, I also wanted to talk to you about my next journal, which is just the empty journal that I currently have in my collection. I'm thinking that this is going to be my reading journal for 2026. Just the really beautiful like celestial pattern makes me think that this will be perfect for my reading journal next year. Again, since my last two reading journals are black, I'm kind of just wanting to switch things up color-wise. So I feel like this could be a really good contender for that. This is the only like extra empty journal that I have at the moment, so definitely a fun thing to do later this year will be to go and order my other journals for the next year. I had a lot of fun sharing with you my journal ecosystem, my journal lineup at this point in autumn 2025. All of my journals, what I use them for. Definitely let me know if you have any questions or anything specific you would like to see for the little journal series that I'm hoping to do for the rest of this year. I will try and link down below all of these journals as well if you would like to use them. And I think that is pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and I will see you in my next video very soon.